First thing we'll do is call this meeting to order. And with that, we will start with our chaplain prayer and pledges. And with that, we're going to bring up Gary Jenkins.
Right. Good morning, Mayor and members of the City Council. And good morning to you. How's everybody? All right, that's what I like to hear. Will you join with me in a word of prayer? Father in heaven, in the name of Jesus, we bow before you to say thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to come together and assemble here to conduct the business of the city. We ask you to bless our mayor, the Honorable Tom Thompson, and all the members of the City Council, our clerks, and Lord, our attorney. And Lord, we ask you to bless our first responders, our fire officials, and our police officers, and all of those that are in the office of protecting this community. We pray for wisdom and guidance, and we pray for your favor. These things we ask in Jesus' name and for your name's sake. Amen. Amen. We will repeat the pledge. Allegiance to the flag, republic for which it stands, one.
We have a couple of proclamations that we'll read this morning. If there's anybody here with the Child Abuse Prevention Month, I'd like for you to come forward, please. So what time were you up this morning? 3? All right. Child Abuse Prevention Month. Children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of our community. Child abuse and neglect are serious problems affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. We acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about what families need before they are in crisis, and to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. Effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships among families, social service agreements, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement, and the private sector. The communities that provide parents with support, resources, and education help ensure that children grow up in a safe, healthy, and stable home. Prevention remains the best defense for our children, and all citizens should become more aware of child abuse prevention efforts and support programs that strengthen families and protect children. Therefore, I, Tom Thompson, Mayor of the City of San Angelo, Texas, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proudly proclaim the month of April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we urge all citizens to recognize that child abuse is preventable, and that a healthy and prosperous society depends upon a strong family and community. Justin, we need somebody to say some words. I don't think you've ever had a shortage.
It just depends, Mayor.
Just depends.
Good morning, everyone, and Mayor, Council. Thank y'all very much for this moment this morning. As a representative of the Children's Advocacy Center of Greater West Texas, based here in San Angelo, that does not just serve San Angelo children, but the Concho Valley, we are very honored to have a movement in our community of awareness of child abuse. And it does take every single one of us. Children are our strongest future, and they start now. And if we're not advocating for them, and if we're not helping to prevent child abuse, then we are destroying our future in the moments that we live. So I encourage every citizen, if you do not know how to prevent child abuse in our community, please give us a call. We'll be more than happy to give you free educational resources, but also we will also share with our community that we have a lot of amazing advocates that truly work every single day to protect our children, and we are so grateful for their service to this community and your service to those children. So thank y'all very much, Mayor. Thank you for doing this for Child Abuse Prevention Month, and it does take all of us. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Anybody here from the Rotary Club? Come on down. You got like one whole lease. Y'all just get a little closer that way. Awesome. Yeah, no heckling from the back. All right. The San Angelo Rotary Club, chartered in 1926 and sponsored by the Fort Worth Rotary Club, has served as a cornerstone of civic leadership and community service in San Angelo for 100 years. Now celebrating its centennial anniversary in 2026, the club has played a vital role in fostering community growth, supporting local initiatives, and strengthening regional connections through the organization of additional Rotary clubs throughout the region, including San Angelo West. With a membership of approximately 75 active Rotarians locally and more than 1.2 million members worldwide through Rotary International, Rotary remains one of the largest and most impactful service organizations in the world. Members of the San Angelo Rotary Club have demonstrated exceptional dedication to service, with some individuals contributing more than 50 years of active membership. The San Angelo Rotary Club has a rich history of service and philanthropy, including decades of successful fundraising efforts such as its annual Shrimp Fest and Casino Night, supporting both local and global service projects. The club has remained dedicated to youth development and educational through scholarships, student exchange programs, and its annual Top Scholars Banquet, recognizing the top 25 students from Central and Lakeview High School, while also providing significant community service through disaster response efforts, support of local organizations such as Hope House and Helping Hands, and participating in initiatives including Adopt a Highway, Salvation Army bell ringing, and serving as a host of Concho Christmas celebrations. The San Angelo Rotary Club continues to look toward the future with ongoing projects, including the adoption and enhancement of Rotary Park, formerly known as Mountain View Park, further strengthening its legacy of service and community impact. Therefore, I, Tom Thompson, Mayor of the City of San Angelo, Texas, on behalf of myself and the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as San Angelo Rotary Month, in recognition of 100 years of dedicated service, leadership, and commitment to improving the quality of life for citizens of San Angelo and communities around the world. Mason? Somebody going to give us some words there?
Yes, I'd be remiss not to recognize our senior senators who are with us. You referenced 50 years. Stanley Mayfield and Mr. Mark White have been members of our club for 50 years. And as we look to the next 100 years, Patrick Brody was here at the last council meeting detailing the plans for the swiftwater rescue boats. I'd be remiss, our club asked for grants and raised money to meet that need. I believe it was over $25,000 for the swiftwater rescue of our city so that we can meet the needs of the future. But we're just honored to be in the community, and we look forward to the next 100 years of San Angelo Rotary and what we can bring. So thank you for this opportunity.
At 8:41, let's move into public comment. Members of the public may raise issues or concerns not listed on the regular agenda during this time. To participate, please sign in with City Clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. Speakers will be called in the order they signed in. When speaking, citizens must speak from the podium, address all comments to the dais, begin by stating your name and address or your single-member district number, and limit your remarks to 3 minutes or less. Heather, do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. Daniel Solis.
Going once. Next.
Okay. Steve Elanius.
Steve?
My name is Steve Elanius. I'm President and CEO of the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce, 418 West Avenue B. First and foremost, I want to thank each of you and what you do. I know sometimes you're wondering, why did I sign up for all this? There has been a lot of conversation around data centers and the opportunities with those, and also what people are concerned about. But I want to tell you, I appreciate the questions that you're asking and collectively the direction you're trying to go in terms of establishing guardrails for this type of project for this community. So I want to commend you for that. And I want you to know your efforts are appreciated. So what is a data center? A data center basically is a building full of computers that deliver information that we use every day. In a technical term, it's a secure facility. It looks like a giant warehouse that stores racks of computers. They process information for businesses, individuals, schools, for everyday use. They are not heavy water users. They're very similar, and I always use this as an analogy. There's 300 million of these smartphones in the United States. That is one smartphone for every man, woman, and child. And on these smartphones are apps and streaming services that we all use every day. And I liken it to clean drinking water. We all enjoy clean drinking water, and we expect to have clean drinking water. But in order to have clean drinking water, we have to have water treatment plants. You cannot have clean drinking water without a water treatment plant. Same thing with that with our smartphones. We all enjoy using those apps. We all enjoy using those streaming services, but we cannot have those streaming services or those apps without data centers. If you don't have data centers, you basically on a smartphone have a dumb instrument that basically you can answer your phone with. And so I liken it to the services that we all use every day. Just to give you a list of this, I'm not going to list, Mayor, all 247 services, but things like Instagram, Netflix, iBox, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Music, PayPal, EA Play, DirecTV, Wayfair, and Slack are just some of those things, are the apps that we use off our smartphones that are housed and stored in data centers. So it's basically the internet of everything. And so I, again, just want to thank you for your efforts and what you're doing. I know collectively as a community, we're going to come to a path I think that will work for everybody with the guardrails, but also can help create an opportunity to expand the tax base here in San Angelo. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next.
Glenda Solis Acevedo.
Ms. Acevedo. Next.
Amber Almendarez.
Amber.
Sorry. Good morning, council members. My name is Amber Armendariz, and I live in District 6. I am here to implore you vote against the proposal to build any data centers in the San Angelo city limits, and for you to encourage our fellow neighbors in Tom Green County and surrounding counties to vote against any such proposal as well. While all of Skybox's promises and guarantees seem somewhat plausible, I assure you that their only job is to sell us on a dream of progression and false assurances. We do not have the infrastructure to supply what these data centers require. Let me explain. Skybox speaks of closed-loop systems as if that is a concern problem solved. However, what happens when the used contaminated water goes through their blowdown process? It flows back into aquifers, wells, rivers, and reservoirs full of forever chemicals, dangerous metals, and other contaminants, or black sludge, as some representatives have reported. Data centers use massive amounts of water for cooling, sometimes millions of gallons daily. And when they need to refill their closed-loop system, once again, they will pull from our water sources. This community is surrounded by farmers and ranchers, and our water resources supply their livestock and crops. If this proposal is approved, we will not only be poisoning our own community, but our neighbors as well as and their way of life too. I grew up on my family's ranch with a natural well not too far from here and witnessed what our seasonal droughts are like. We suffer through one every 7 years with above 100-degree weather, sometimes several months out of the year. This area doesn't have seasons like other parts of the country. We may get 2 months of fall, 2 weeks of winter, a month of spring, and the rest is all summer. In the past 20 years, on average, we get a rainfall of 21.23 inches. Our lowest year was 9.21 inches of rain. I'm sure everyone remembers the year that we suffered more than 3 months of 100-degree weather. Right now, Nasworthy is at 87.3% capacity, OC Fisher 14.3%, and Twin Buttes at 10.4% capacity. If Beacon Data Center gets approval in Dove Creek and y'all approve Skybox on Highway 67, San Angelo and its people will suffer immensely. These data centers not only pollute our water, but cause land surface temperatures to rise by 16.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and the heat impact can extend up to 6.5 miles away from the data centers. It doesn't take a fool to realize the reason why Skybox and Beacon Data Centers have chosen this area. They have come for our reservoirs. You want progression, but at what cost? What happens when we can no longer water our crops or take a shower because of what these toxins have done to our water? We are the stewards of the land and water, and you were voted to represent your community, and your community is progressively asking you to not approve this. If they can haul their own water trucks, as they say, then they should build these AI data centers in the desert and do just that. I will end with this Native American proverb. Only when the last tree has died and the last river has been poisoned and the last fish has been caught will you realize you cannot eat your money. I yield my time.
Thank you. Next, Heather.
Douglas Long.
Good morning, Mayor, San Angelo Management, and City Council. My name is Douglas Long, and I am a resident of Single-Member District 3. My comments today are on the record, and I will speak on data centers. I urge the City Council to pause all deliberations on bringing data centers to San Angelo. Please allow San Angeloans the opportunity to vote on whether or not they want to share their water, air, and infrastructure with such large consumers of these resources as data centers are. I urge the City Council to present the facts on data centers and not confuse the public with hype about future tax revenues while we continue to struggle with the higher living costs of food, water, and other utilities and transportation, which any data center will only exacerbate. I ask that you place a moratorium on approval of any data center until the people's vote has been tabulated. You owe it to your conscience as our elected representatives. Do not give away our life-giving water, cause our electric bills to increase such that we cannot afford to heat and cool our homes, or force us from our homes because we can no longer pay for them because of higher rents and property taxes that go to subsidizing data center gluttons. Please, do not torture us with the low hum of these data centers without a vote. Pass a moratorium on data centers and allow the people to vote on them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long.
Antonio Martinez.
Number 6.
Good morning, Council. I'm Antonio Martinez, a resident of Single-Member District 4. I apologize, I'm not as well prepared today as I was before, so I just want to reiterate some points that I made before, that there is a lot of impacts that we just don't know the answers to as it pertains to this data center. Just to make it clear, I'm opposed to this data center being put in place. There's a lot of misnomers being flown around, like it doesn't use that much water. It's true that a single prompt can use 0.00015 or something like that of a teaspoon of water, but it lends itself to being misleading because one prompt can have hidden prompts behind it. I can ask for a list of all fruits that are red, and it'll have to have prompts that'll say, well, what fruits aren't red, just as an example. So these add to the water cost, but we're not being told that up front. I would also like to say that Mr. Keeley took the time on Saturday to hear a lot of the concerns of people in his district specifically. I would urge the rest of you to do the same. Even though he did get grilled for a little bit, I appreciate you taking the time. We call balls and strikes. There's not really a whole lot else I'm prepared to say today. I think it's very important that we look at our neighbors in Abilene and the real cost that they're dealing with right now. The benefits are very front-loaded, where you might have a year or two of prosperity, people making six-figure salaries coming in, spending their money. But if they can pay more for rent, but the rest of us have the jobs that stay the same, where do we go? And so, sure, it'll be good for business owners in the area for a couple of years, but what happens 3, 4, 5 years down the line? There's a lot of unanswered questions, and I think we really need to sit down and take a look, because we have somebody close by that's a very good case study in what we could and could not benefit from. And I think it would benefit us to at least put a moratorium on this for a while, to really take a look at Abilene specifically. I'm sure that some of us know a lot of people in Abilene. We can start there, make a few calls to a friend or something, but I think it's very important that we do that. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Jamal Schumpert?
Jamal?
No? Okay. That's all.
Jamal declined. With that, we will move out of public comment. We'll move into the consent agenda.
What was your name? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, and Jennifer Dindy.
Good call. Jennifer, you'll be number 7 on public comment.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Thank you for listening to me. I wanted to talk about Stargate because I haven't heard anybody talk about that. Stargate is what's funding the Abilene data centers, and it was started in 2025, thrown out there by President Trump, $500 billion to fund data centers across the country. And I couldn't even realize what $500 billion is. It's $500 billion. So I got on YouTube to watch one of those videos that kind of visualizes $1 trillion for you. If you haven't watched one of those, you should, because it's mind-blowing. This is so much money. It's crazy. And I understand that we want a piece of that money. I get that. But the problem is, you throw out this money, and these companies are spreading across the country to build these things. Like locusts, they are looking for water, energy, cheap land, water, energy, cheap land. And they're landing here, and they're going to build their big, giant data center, and they're going to fly away with their millions, and we're going to get this little bag that has a few $100,000 of property tax money, 20-something not-so-great jobs, higher electric bills, and higher water bills. That's not a good deal for us. And I understand if you want a piece of this money, I understand that. But we got to make a good deal for San Angelo. If we're going to negotiate with the locusts, make it a good deal for us. We in San Angelo are counting on all of y'all to not let San Angelo be taken for a fool, basically. Thank you.
That's all.
We're done with public comment? All right. Thanks for speaking up when we didn't have you. Good call. All right. Let's go ahead and move into the consent agenda, and we will move across the dais, starting with you, Mary. Do you have any items you would like to pull?
Number F.
Mary wants to pull F. Karen?
G, please.
G. Patrick? None. I would like to pull, let me see, B. Harry?
Nothing to pull.
Joe?
Nothing.
Mr. Hebert?
No, sir.
All right. With that, we'll look for a motion to approve all items except B, F, and G. Can I get a motion?
So moved. I second.
First, do we have any public comment on BFG? All those except
No, you
BFG?
want- Yes,
Gotcha.
yes. Jamal Schumpert. Neither. So you'll,
Heather, which items is he going to speak on?
On C, E, and K.
All right, Jamal.
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. The reason I wanted to look at C, wanted y'all to speak about it is because last year, a couple years ago, I raised the issue about a high plane, low plane thing in this exact area. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. And what is a miscellaneous easement? I'd like to know more details myself. I'm very uneducated in miscellaneous easements. I did want to speak with E, talk about E, but I think I'll speak with Mr. Sneerman on another day instead of speaking to you guys about it, because it's an ongoing project that Park Hill's been doing, and they've been adding to it, because we keep adding to the industrial park. And for E, well, that's it, C and E. Thank you. Well, I do have B and another, K, yes. Hey, is that where to be the use table, the 3,000 square foot lots? Is that on there as well? Or is it just the overlay districts?
This isn't the time for questions, just your public comment.
Okay. So on K, I would like y'all to break that down into more meetings, like sitting that on a consent agenda and there's that many things that you're gonna just bypass the ordinance with. And every year, it seems like we're having a planning commission meeting, a double joint planning commission meeting. One year was about STRs, and another year was about something else. I think it was about some of the stuff on here now. And now it's the third year where we're having another joint meeting. Seems like we're trying to rush it, and the citizens don't want us rushing these things. They kind of want to be aware of all of the changes, and these are quite a few changes that are happening. So I'd like for us to maybe not table that, but if we pass it, be more open about what it is, like we are with the data centers. I wish we could kind of be like that on everything, so that all the community could take a part in this and help us all out. But if we sit here and only push the things that are brought up from people in the community that are big problems, then all of the smaller problems begin to get bigger and they become larger problems, like our utility and expanding our utilities and waters, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But thank you.
Any more public comment?
Yes, Rocky Templin for item K.
Morning, Rocky Templin, Single Member District 6. We were going to have a joint meeting today on that item, and I believe it was canceled for today, which was about 29 days ago. So now we're going to have another joint meeting in 29 days to cover the same item. In the past 29 days, we have not received a final draft on any of those. And so I would like to know if we're going to receive a final draft before the next meeting on May 19th in a timely fashion, which that covers a lot of information, as y'all know, as y'all have seen. So if we get that the Friday before, that's not going to be very good. So I would hope that we could get that in a timely manner. Thank you.
That's
more
all
public comment?
for approved items now.
All right. So we've had a first and a second and public comment for all items except B, F, and G. We'll go for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All those items pass 7-0. Now we'll roll into item B. Consider approving a lease agreement with the YMCA to use the Carl Ray Johnson Recreation Center and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute all related documents.
Yes, sir. The YMCA, they are needing space this summer for their summer day camp. The ISD has construction projects going on, so they're needing to use some additional facilities around to be able to accommodate their summer camp. So Carl Ray Johnson is available during the hours which they need, which would be before 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. We're wanting to go in negotiations with them to give them a reduced rate from our normal rental rate of $30 an hour to keep it affordable for them, but still cover the cost that we incur as a recreation division.
Jesse, I pulled this. How many kids did this help out?
Around 150.
So 2 weeks ago, 150 kids had no place to be during this time period.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for stepping up very much. I mean, you can't say the number of phone calls I've got, and we can't Monday morning quarterback this, but this was an outstanding job of the city to provide city public space to take care of a bunch of kids in need. It was outstanding. So I wanted to tell you that myself. And with that, I'll make a motion. Second. I've got a second from Tommy Hebert. Any public comment?
Jamal Schumpert.
Jamal Shumpert, SMD3. Mayor, as a person who's actually supervised these camps, ran these camps from the bottom up himself with the city of Marshall at 18, 19, and 20, it was poor planning. And furthermore, these kids are paying. And do you know how much they're paying? I don't know if we're helping them out. We're taking some money. Are we giving them the same type of facilities that the YMCA has or that the school district has? Last time I went in Coral Ray, because y'all did have games there, it wasn't up to the standards that I would say. And we do have a facility standards and standards of care for the city in our youth programs. It just seems to me, if you really wanted to help these kids out, you take some money out that development corporation, put about $50,000, $60,000 towards paying for them to attend the YMCA at your gym. Now that's helping them out. But right now, all we're doing is providing the space and lowering the rent for someone else like me who could have came in and did this exact same thing. But because I don't have YMCA behind my name, I can't get the reduced rate, right? So yeah, thank you. But thank you for providing the space at the very least. I just don't like it when we come out and look like we're Superman, when honestly, that's not even the minimum we could have did for them. Because this extra money, thank you.
Any more public comment?
Not on item B.
All right, so I've got a first for me and a second for Tommy Hebert. All those in favor of item B, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item B passes 7-0. Let's go to item F. Consider a resolution finding a public purpose and approving a request by West Texas Land Guys, San Angelo LLC, for the city to pay for the material and installation cost differential between an 8-inch diameter and a 12-inch diameter sewer line extension on or along Arden Road and FM 2288 that will serve the planned Arden Heights subdivision and potential development in the area, and authorizing city manager to negotiate and execute all necessary documents. John Kaufman. John, you're on.
Good morning, Mayor, Council, City Manager. What questions can I answer for you?
Yes, thank you, John. I have a question on the 30% of the $366,750 for that 8-inch sewer line. If that means we'll pay $110 roughly for the developer that will, the way I read it, only accommodate him. When the surrounding land doesn't even attach to the city, we don't know if that's ever going to be annexed or connected at all, do we?
No, there's no certainty of that. My understanding is that there is land development anticipated by developers in that area to the west that presumably would be annexed by the city in the future. The reason for this is that our discussions with land developers has been that if we don't extend the sewer line, they'll have reduced density of housing and they'll put in septic systems. The water's too valuable to us. We need to have that return flow to the wastewater plant for future reuse. And any future development that occurs out there will be higher density, more tax revenue for the city, and then we'll get those sewer return flows back to us. That water is very valuable.
Do we have any other developers besides this one that is requesting this or looking for any?
Not at this time, no.
We have had developers in the past that have come to the city asking for assistance, much similar to this as well. And we expect in the future as well. If you can remember back in October, I brought to the council the idea of creating a policy for the city for developer assistance in areas like this, especially where we are asking for oversized piping, whether that's for sewer and for water as well. The ordinance that we currently have for developer assistance is a bit antiquated and needs to be updated. And so as a part of all of that, we're trying to create basically a developer's assistance program to help offset some of these extremely high inflationary prices that we've seen in that industry.
Okay, so we are open to, it's not just this one isolated thing. This is something that could,
Yes, this is not one isolated thing. We have done this in the past with the Bank and Trust not too long ago out on the north end of town. We've also with
Baker Ranch.
Baker Ranch Estates off of Twin Butte with David Darnell and his group. We've helped them as well with the same sort of assistance as well. And while we don't have another existing request on the table right now, we do expect some to be coming in.
okay, all right, thank you, Shane. Thank you,
If
John.
you don't mind, Council, the developers here from West Texas Land Guys and would like to speak to the council on the subject, if you would be so inclined.
I would appreciate that. Everybody else okay with that?
Bring him up, John.
Hi, my name is Stacy Huvel. I'm with the West Texas Land Guys of San Angelo. I just wanted to give a little bit of background about this development and kind of what we're trying to accomplish. We develop residential subdivisions in 3 areas in West Texas. We're in Lubbock, Abilene, and San Angelo. This is one of our second development in San Angelo, and we have gone, I think we've probably been here before. We've talked about doing smaller lots. We've talked about maybe making acre lots because we don't have water and sewer out there. We realize that you need some housing, you need attainable housing, and you need probably a little bit higher density subdivisions than acre lots. And the way that we can accomplish that is by working with the city in a development agreement partnership where you help us get the sewer out there, and then it benefits not just our development, but it also benefits other developments in the area, which is why the city is asking us to upgrade the line from an 8-inch line to a 12-inch line so that it can serve more than just our development, which will be called Arden Heights.
It'll be called what, I'm sorry?
Arden Heights.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
So that's kind of why we're here. We've had success with this type of partnership in other areas, and we know that in talking to Shane that you guys are open to a development agreement with developers in certain circumstances, and that's what we're asking for because it is somewhat cost prohibitive to bring the sewer line to our property based on where it is, and this would extend it to our property line and thus extend it further past our property because we'll put it obviously into our development.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm happy to entertain any other questions you might have.
I just got a quick one, John.
Yes, sir.
If this same developer develops the next part after that, do they reimburse the cost for upgrading that line to get it to there, or do they just pay for the new section as well?
That's a question that needs to be determined. I don't have an answer for that yet.
Okay.
I think that's part of the discussion that Shane was talking about.
It is currently in our ordinance. We would still be providing assistance in the upsized line to extend it further if we believe that it's necessary to extend the 12-inch out further past this property if it continues to develop over. In our current ordinance, we would be required to provide that oversized reimbursement.
Even if it's the same developer?
Even if it's the same developer, correct.
Okay.
Cool. Any further questions down there? Any additional questions by council? I'll look for a motion.
Also move.
I have a first from Harry and a second from Mary. Mary, he just beat you across the line there, okay? Don't want to get in trouble. Any public comment on this item?
Rocky Templin.
Morning, Rocky Templin, single member District 6. After looking at the planning agenda yesterday and the city council agenda, I saw that the West Texas Land Guys had 2 plats yesterday on the consent agenda at planning. And then after listening about data centers again, I went home and I opened 30-plus tax notices and saw that my taxes were going up from anywhere from 3% to over 200%. I live, work, shop, and contribute to the tax base here in the city, and I pay my share of taxes. So I think I should have a say of where it is being spent, especially when it comes to a company from Lubbock who wants my tax dollars to help them put in 40 lots, mass density, to sell to D.R. Horton. The letter from the West Texas Land Guys to the city, which is dated April 3rd, which is only 12 business days, I give y'all credit for moving pretty quick, states in order to begin development, we need to extend the existing sewer line from Martin 2288. They bought this 4 years ago. They state we're going to build 1 acre lots on 9 acres, which would be 9 lots, which wouldn't be very much, would be around $450,000 gross. And then they said higher density, half-acre lots, which would have been double that, which would have been about 18. But instead, they've changed it to 40 lots, which is a $2 million gross. The 9 or 18 lots wouldn't have sewer. The 40 lots would have sewer. And they quote in their letter to run to our property line. So we need to understand that $110,000 of this is to pay 30% of the 8-inch line to run 600 feet to get from 2288 to their property line. And then we're also paying the upside of the 12-inch was another $152,775. So even if you take the sewer off of that, the cost plus what the city's paying, they're gonna net a more like 1.75 million and make another $1 million. So the city has something they need. They need water. They need annexation. Makes more sense. More sewer, more lots, more density, more money. But on the map, the only piece of property that joins the city limits is a very small corner on the very bottom. The rest of that property has been removed from the ETJ and will not be annexed and will not be in the ETJ. There are 2 subdivisions going forward surrounding them that'll be half-acre lots with septic tanks. We've been talking about affordable housing for 8 months. Well, at no time did the city say, hey, we could pay for 30% of your infrastructure to help with the cost of affordable housing. No, they said, hey, can we ask you to pay for the street signs and the striping? We have a budget of $8,000. But instead, you'll spend $3,819.37 for the sewer for 40 lots that does not touch the city limits or connect to the ETJ.
Thank you, Rocky. Any other public comment?
Jamal Schumpert.
Jamal?
Jamal Schumpert, SMD3. I don't think I could follow him well, but guys, I didn't know that. And also, speaking on this, for the record, we've done this several times. We've taken stuff that wasn't necessarily on a capital improvement project or necessarily what we're supposed to do that year and spent it. Like the riff-raff by Sonic in the concrete, that stormwater area, it's about $400,000. Just last week, I think you paid $130,000 on the infill program. Where it says infill, it kind of gets me confused, especially when I see this. But to their credit, I don't actually know why we're doing these things. Not just the banking trust or the riff-raff. When Mr. Fryrek came up here, and all he needed was $100,000 to run this program that would have benefited the entire community. When we're spending stuff like this, we don't have the $400,000 to run that program with 16 FTEs for Mr. Patrick Fryrek. That's the issue I have. But in this case, before Mr. Templin came up here and said that a lot of that wasn't going to be connected, it seemed like this would have been a better option than all the rest of them you chose. But now, knowing that he did the homework, extra homework that I didn't, it'd be a bad decision. Not that I have anything against this company in particular, but all of them, in my opinion, were bad decisions. If we have to spend that money and we don't have the $800,000 in the water, in the operations, which is part of utilities as well, to hire those 16 FTEs. But thank you.
Absolutely.
That's all for F.
No, Shane, Patrick has some questions.
Just real quick, John, and maybe Shane. So on this, I'm in favor of the development agreements that we have going forward. on this one, we have asked them to go to the 12-inch, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is, kind of what was said, is there other lots that are connected to the city that will pay city taxes that will be connecting on this in the future?
There is a commercial lot right there on the corner that will connect to this at some point in the future as well, or maybe multiple lots depending on how it's sold and broken up. We were led to believe that the land guys in specific have first right of refusal on the land just directly to the west and maybe to the north of them as well. And so again, we expect, based on that information, that there is some desire to continue to move to the west and maybe to the north as well out there in that general area to where that would at some point connect to our sewer. That's why we requested to go from the 8-inch to the 12 inches for the extra capacity.
And to get that sewer, they'd have to annex that into the city limits?
Yes, they would have to annex for them to be able to utilize our sewer, correct.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, my question here, John, is we're just covering the cost to upgrade the pipe, correct?
We upgrade the pipe and 30% of the installation of, if it was 8-inch, to go from where it currently is established at Arden and 2288 to the property line.
Understand that. Okay. No, that answered my question. Any more questions from the dais? I'll look for a motion. Oh, I've got a first and a second. I'll look for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes 6-1. With that, we'll move into item G, consider a resolution authorizing the Animal Service Division to accept a donation of $6,358.97 worth of Simparica from Zoetis Pet Care. Angela Bloss.
Good morning. We are very thankful for our contracted vet who went out to his representative to get this donation for us. So this is for Simparica. It will treat fleas and ticks for our entire population currently at the shelter. So what are your additional questions?
Karen?
Yes, we are grateful.
Yes.
I'm grateful as well, and so there's no problem approving this. A couple of quick questions, however. Do you rely on donations to provide this treatment? Because fleas and ticks pose a health risk, significant health risk.
Yes, currently. It's significantly expensive for the amount of dogs. So we have 140 dogs at any given time in the shelter. So to treat them monthly, I believe we just sent an estimate to Councilmember Coffey for a little over $40,000.
You anticipated my next question. So you need funding, and we need to consider that with great seriousness.
I will never turn down funding.
Okay, all right. I think that solves it. Yes, I make the motion to accept the donation with gratitude.
You have questions or you want to say?
Yeah, question. On that, so do we have any policy that maybe one that does come in with visible ticks that we treat it before it goes out to anybody after they adopt it? Do we help with that at all?
Yes, if you go through the adoption process with us, we do treat it for fleas and ticks prior to it leaving the use. But if it goes through a rescue, they're responsible for any of that treatment and medical care.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Angela, I'll follow that up with a third. Being in this industry and doing animal health care all the time, these donations are certainly available to animal health shelters, all right? I'm just saying you just have to let people know. There are tons of companies out there that would be more than happy to donate. They would do buy one, get ones, usually with a animal shelter. A lot of times those free goods by far exceed the dollar amounts you could do. I just think y'all need to be actively, I would say, campaigning for that. And to do that, your veterinarian should know how to do that. But there's probably 50 or 60 companies that would do similar things. Don't know the quantity, but number one, we want to thank Zoetis for doing this. Number two, I just think we need to probably be a little bit more open and campaign aggressively on that. But be careful. Some people do get a little bit concerned about what gets donated and what is in the trade.
And yes, and we're working on that as far as protocols and guidelines that we need for our facility to manage those donations and keep track of those donations. So it's currently in the process.
All right, cool. Anybody else on this topic? I've got a first from Karen and a second from Patrick. Did you have something, Mary?
Yes, I had a question and then just a statement on that. Is this one-time donation from Simparica, is that Can that be renewed, or is this an annual thing, or just a once time?
Right now, it's a one-time. I mean, I'm hoping that we can build that relationship where it happens more often, but for right now, it's a one-time, 1-month dose for every owned dog at the facility.
Well, I need to say this too. I've spoken with Amanda, our director, numerous times, and she has actually been incredibly proactive and has been very open to any kind of donation acceptance. And so I know there's a little bit of confusion as to how do we solicit that, and so there's been a little confusion on that, not necessarily from y'all, but from me and even the public. What can we accept and what can we not, and how we solicit that. But Amanda has she's taken on almost an impossible job. It seems like that animal services come under fire for a long time, for good reason, for not good reason.
Right.
But she has been very diligent in asking any questions to me. She's been extremely willing to listen to any kind of outside help, but she has been proactive on that. It's not a reactive response. If I have a question or something like that, she has been coming to us, and I want to commend her publicly for doing that. And these little steps that we make, it's not perfect, and animal services is a very passionate topic to everybody. But the little steps, we need to acknowledge those, and they're important. That maybe we're not getting where we all wanted to be in a short period of time, but progress is being made, and these problems are being addressed. They bring them up to us, we address them, and we are doing and trying all that we can. And when I say we, I mean that with you, Angela. It's a thankless job, but we are going to get there, and I believe the public will see that, and I pray that we will have a lot more harmony than we've had in the past. But y'all are trying, and I personally appreciate that very, very much.
Thank you. We're all new and we're all learning. It's a new process for all of us.
Right,
So
it is.
we just want to make sure we're doing everything the right way, the correct way. So I appreciate
You're doing
that.
a wonderful job. It's
Thank
a
you.
thankless job, but no, we appreciate you and Amanda and your whole staff.
Thank
We do.
you. I'll
bet.
pass that along. They'll appreciate it.
Thank you.
Angela, I think we've got one more question.
Okay.
These medications are weight-specific, are they not?
They are, yes. And
And-
so I know there's an age specification, so I'm not quite sure on the weight, but I know it has to be 6 months and older. So we'll make sure that's happening, and then we'll weigh before we give it to them. And again, I want to go back to I did say owned. I want to clarify that they're owned by the city.
We understand.
Okay,
Thank
just
you,
want to
though.
make sure.
Thank you.
Very good. We're good. Any other comments on this item? With that, I've got a first from Karen, a second for Patrick. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item G passes 7-0. All right, now let's move into the regular agenda. Comments regarding the items on the regular agenda may be made by the public when each item is discussed as outlined above. To participate, please sign in with the city clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. Speakers will be called in the order they are signed in. Comments are limited to less than 3 minutes. Applicants, proponents, and appellants are exempt from the time limit above and instead must limit their remarks to less than 5 minutes. We'll go to item A. Considering approving a contract for Phase 2, the purchase and installation of a variable refrigerant flow system at McNeese Convention Center with Advanced Service Group in the amount of $115,850, utilizing Civic Events Fund balance and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute all related documents. Presentation made by Civic Events Manager Sydney Walker.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council, City Manager. Sydney Walker, Civic Events Manager. I'm here to discuss and seek approval for Phase 2 of our HVAC improvements. Last fall, we completed our first phase of improvements, which included this room right here, also the north meeting room, as well as upstairs and the hallways. So this year, we're looking to replace the current Mitsubishi single units that we have with the VRF system. That would be replacing our main office, the manager's office, also the east and west restrooms, the foyer, as well as the electrical room and the concession stands. This system cost us actually $115,850. The start date would be in May, and it would take approximately 30 to 45 days to complete. We will not have to close the venue to do these replacements, and I'm just looking for an approval for us to be able to get started, because currently, right now, we do not have any heat or air conditioning in these areas.
I'll open this up to the dais. Are there any questions? With that, I'll look for a motion. I have a first from Harry. I have a second for Tommy Hebert. Heather, is there any public comment on item A?
Jamal Schumpert. He passes.
What? With no public comment, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes 7-0. We'll move into item B, consideration and possible action on the following. Number one, consider resolution electing to participate in a tax abatement agreement pursuant to the Property Redevelopment and Tax Abatement Act, Chapter 312 of the Texas Tax Code. And number two, first reading and public hearing of an ordinance reauthorizing Article 1.09 Taxation, Division 3 Uniform Tax Abatement Policy of the City Code of Ordinances, which expired October 17, 2025. Presentation made by Economic Development Project Manager Robert Sneven.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
This is, as the mayor mentioned, a two-part item. The first item is a resolution to continue our participation in the tax abatement program that the state authorizes under Chapter 312 of the state tax code. That expired back in October of 2025, our current participation, and that was due in part to a misunderstanding on my part. We had renewed a portion of that in August of 2024, so my thinking was it was coming up in August of 2026. I was wrong. So we're a little bit late, but we are renewing that. And the second is just basically renewing the ordinance itself, which is remaining unchanged.
Right. Robert, I think we've had some look and view at this in the background. I think these are one of these things that we only renew when we actually need it, and we haven't maintained it.
That's
so
correct.
There's a discussion about maybe we just keep it updated with legal and whoever tracks it to make sure it's always in place, instead of just having to reach back and grab it when we have to, and it would avoid us some confusion there. But with that, I have no additional questions. Anybody else? Patrick has a question.
Can you give me a quick synopsis, the difference in a Chapter 312 and a Chapter 380?
Between 12 and 312 and 380?
Yes.
I can help you with that. So the 312 is tax code for tax abatements, and the 2-year period, that's by statute. You have to reauthorize it every 2 years. 380 is an economic development chapter that provides incentives above and beyond abatements. So you could actually give direct grant funding, even personal services using resources of the city to help a private economic development project. This is just for the tax abatement.
Is that 312? So, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows kind of where I'm going with this. A lot was brought up that this was done at this time for data center reasons. Right. Does this have anything to do with 380? Is it part of one?
No.
Okay.
I mean, may let Bob expand, but we've had the technology tower. There's a multi-step process to do these abatements. One of them is what we're doing right here. Another is to create a zone where a tax abatement could be applied for. And then the next step would be actually approving an agreement with an actual person or entity in that zone for the tax abatement. And so we've done that on Technology Tower. We've approved the zone. I think we're doing this mainly to be able to
basically
do the
we're working
agreement.
on a final agreement on that
Right.
one. And the only other one we have right now in any step is what we were calling Project BESS. It's the battery storage up on the north side.
Mm-hmm.
And that agreement is signed. The abatement won't take effect until they complete construction. They have not yet started, and it's anticipated to be, I think, in 2027.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Right.
With that,
Any other questions from the dais?
I do. I have just a clarification. So essentially, it's a coincidence that this came up at the same time as the data center and all. So I just want to make completely clear that like you said, there's a multi-step project, and with municipalities, it's extremely tedious. And so you can't do one without the other, but the fact that this came about during this data center in a similar area, that they have nothing to do with each other.
Absolutely
Okay.
nothing.
I just want to make that crystal clear.
When this is strictly administrative procedure.
Yes, that's the key word, administrative. There's no action to anything. That's just
We have not heard any such thing.
paperwork. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Patrick, did you make a motion? Yes. I have a first from Patrick. Can I get a second? Second from Karen. Any public comment on this item?
Jennifer Dendy.
Hello again, Jennifer Dendy, single-member District 5. Yes, this may be a coincidence, but it seems unusual, to say the least. And back to my locust analogy, we do not need to invite the locusts. They're looking for us. They want us. We don't have to give them anything. No tax abatements, nothing. And I hope you're right that this was just an unusual coincidence, but it's hard for me to believe that. But thank you.
Any more public comment? With that, we'll look for a vote on item B. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item passes 7-0. Let's move to item C. First reading and public hearing of an ordinance for PD 26-01, a request for a zone change from a single-family residential to a planned development with base zoning of low-rise multifamily residential, allowing duplexes and quadruplexes located at 620 East 43rd Street. Presentation made by Planning and Development Services Director Aaron Vanoy. Aaron, you're on.
Good morning, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Valenzuela. Aaron Vanoy, Planning and Development Services Director. This morning, we have a planned development request to rezone some property here at 43rd and Bonham. It's PD 2601. It's 1.3 acres, and it's currently zoned RS1, single family. They would like to go to a planned development with a base zoning of RM1, which is currently low-rise multifamily. Their project is to add quadruplexes to this property here. Currently, it's got about 4 or 5 lots there, but they want to combine them all together and create quadruplexes. This is in District 2, Joseph, and this is in the Lakeview neighborhood. So here you can see that it is neighborhood zoning or vision plan on the left, and then on the right, everything you see around is single family. Over here to this side is Lakeview, and this is a large detention area for the city, but this is all currently zoned single family residential. So we did mail out our notices. This did go to Planning Commission and did get tabled once for straight zoning, then they came back with the planned development. The same 2 properties have been in opposition the entire time. They would rather see single-family development in this location as opposed to multifamily. They've had some concerns over time of this being an area that particularly students can come through and they kind of hang out because it's a little wooded, it's got some trash and debris, but this is an opportunity, we believe, for it to be cleaned up. The other development challenges that they have right now, that there are no utilities in 43rd, so they'll have to put in water and sewer and a hydrant. And for them to pencil out, single-family housing probably won't pencil out, even if there was infill funding available. And currently, there's not infill funding available for this project. So here's a little bit closer look. You can see how the lot's kind of in its current state. This is when we put out our sign. You can kind of see the vehicles back there. You can see the number of lots in through there, but they're looking at creating one lot, eventually demolishing that, and then placing 4 quadruplexes, which would be 16 units total along there. Let me go back. What I will say at the Planning Commission, and you'll see it possibly in our notes here at the end, they wanted to limit it to 15 units only, whether that be duplexes, quadplexes, or triplexes. It makes more sense if they wanted to fit 4 quadruplexes, it'd be 16. But again, Planning Commission brought forth the recommendation of 15. So just keep that in your mind. So again, they first thought that they would face Bonham, but there's really not enough room between alleyway and street with maneuvering and things, and so the eventual plan will be that they'll be in this direction so that they actually have circulation for traffic. They'd be able to get out safely onto 43rd and to Bonham Street. This on the right is one of the examples that they're looking at of trying to bring in the cottage-style houses that they are connected as quadruplexes there in the low-rise multifamily. We did look around. This is our infill area. We are trying to help continue to build our infill area because all of our city services are already going by, being police, fire, animal services, code enforcement. All those types of things are happening already. What they do need is infrastructure and then be able to maximize the lots. We do know that through our housing study, this type of housing is a desired type of housing and needed in our community. And currently we believe this, the natural environment, this is only going to help it. And they would have an urban design review that would help with some of the aesthetics as it moves forward. So with that, staff has a recommendation of approval to the zone change from RS1 to a planned development with an RM1 underlying zoning, which is low rise. They need to apply for all their permits. They need to generally conform to the low rise multifamily standards, which talks about setbacks and density. Again, Planning Commission recommended 15 units. Staff is recommending 16 units. If this was already RM1 zoning, they could have up to 25 units per acre. And so that's the difference. That was a compromise there. Again, if they had lighting on site, it'd be shielded, and that they would go through an urban design review for that. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or go back to any slides you'd like to take a look at.
So Aaron, would you go back to the slide showing the duplexes, please? The proposed. So in your comment, you said that's just one of the ideas they're looking at. There's been several conversations about this property and the lack of a definite plan. I'm going to kick this over to Joe here in a minute, Councilman Self, and let him go and lead through some points that he has here. We're all in for the improvement of property, but like some similar things today, we don't want to be shown one thing and then be flashed another. All right. So with that, Joe, I'm going to kick it over to you and talk about looking for a plan. I know we looked at this property once before, didn't we? And there was opposition to it. I know that was on the point. But anyway, want to make sure there's not any two-story. Does the proposed zoning, would that allow them to do a two-story?
It would. All residential zoning allows two-story, whether it's low-rise, multifamily, or single-family.
Right.
So that, but again, this is a planned development, so you can add conditions to that. And so if that's a restriction that is preferable, their current design right now is not two-story, but I believe they're here, and I'm not sure if they're signed up to speak or not, but the property owners are here today.
Right. I'm going to tee it over to Mr. Self.
So I agree, we need affordable housing. We need, and these lots, great to clean them up, make that area nicer. I have reservation on putting in multi-family homes there. And my big concern is the surrounding areas is all single family. We don't have multi-family anywhere near except for down where the old Lincoln is. There's a few duplexes, or where old Lincoln was tore down. We also have the area over by Armstrong that we just approved for the infill that was supposed to be apartment complexes originally, and then that fell through. So now it's all single-family homes, and that's closer to even a major road where you could see duplexes and stuff. So that's, I just have reservation on moving forward with this because of that. But again, we do need to get that. It would look nicer if it was built out with new homes. I mean, there's a new home on the corner of Bowie and 44th that backs up to that lake. There's been some areas that have been I guess after the flood or even before have made, but it's all stayed single family. So that's my big reservation on this, and so let's see where it goes from there.
I think their challenge, and of course they'll be able to speak to this, is if you were to put that into, say there's 6 lots there, 6 single-family houses, they would not be able to afford to do the project because the cost of the infrastructure is too much. They would not be able to get a return on those 6 to be able to do that. I think they would like to do that. They're extra long lots. They're actually 200 feet long and 50 feet wide. We've seen other places around town where the low-rise multifamily has come in and has been a good addition to those neighborhoods. I think from a planning standpoint, it is a way to help maximize that land and help spread the cost out of that infrastructure over time. I do agree that obviously we do have single-family homes, and then we have a large lot here that's got a single-family home and one there directly adjacent. Usually by school areas, and of course, again, this is a high school, not an elementary school or middle school. Multifamily or low-rise multifamily seems to fit in very well. But again, we understand the concerns, and if there are any options on conditions, limits, things like that, that make it more feasible for it to mesh into the neighborhood, I think they're open to those suggestions. But I still think they have to have it pencil out for it to move forward.
When does the infill, and I can't recall, money re-up?
October 1.
Okay.
The new budget.
So it'd be till then before they could even look at getting that money if that was a possibility.
That's correct.
Patrick, you had a question?
I do a little bit. Joe, and kind of for you, so looking at, well, Aaron, first the letter that goes out to people, what does it state? Like, what do they know about it? But is it just that it's going to change from RS to PD? Is that all they see?
Yes, it says that it's going to change to a planned development with low-rise multifamily. That's what it says. That goes out. We've done that twice now since it was tabled once, so we had to re-notify. We did have the 2 properties that are right here. They did come to Planning Commission, I believe both times, and explained what they were concerned about. And so, yes, I think, obviously, it does say low-rise because RM1 can allow low-rise. Now, in this planned development, we're putting the condition on that it could be quadruplexes or lower style structures like single-family, 2-family, 3-family. It couldn't be more than what they've already put as Planning Commission if that's the way y'all wanted to move forward.
So they don't know that there could be 16 units. They just know it's going to a PD.
Well,
low-rise
that was
multifamily.
discussed thoroughly at Planning Commission, but that was not in the letter. That is correct.
Joe, I mean, only 2 in opposition to me, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not a big deal. But as we've seen in other cases, a lot of times once somebody actually figures out what's going on, there's a lot more people that are in opposition. What have you received kind of from people in that area?
They're in opposition of the multifamily.
Way more than those 2 that we see there?
Well, it's mainly those 2.
Those 2?
Yeah. And when you look on the ArcGIS map on the zoning, there's only, we have, the only multifamily we have is down south on Bowie where they tore the old Lincoln down. There's
Correct.
3 duplexes down
This
there.
is a large sea of RS1.
Well, and those 2 lots to the right, I mean, do we think that's kind of the same issue with that just general area, is just the infrastructure's not there?
Correct.
So it's going to be expensive?
Correct.
Have they talked to us about development agreement, kind of like we've had in other issues? Have we mentioned that to them about looking into something like that?
No.
Okay. Do we have any restrictions on that of how many lots it has to be for us to be willing to help them out?
No, currently we do not have a policy in place. We're allowing developers to bring their request on a one-by-one basis, and so, but the policy is currently not in place to have any guidelines or direction yet.
Gotcha. I mean, even if we went to those 6 lots and you said they're extra long, so if you quote-unquote split those in half, that'd be 12 units. I mean, that'd be 3 quadplexes. I don't know if that's a good mix or if we just leave it like it is. I'm going to kind of defer to you, but that's something I'm looking at is like, well, if that, if they could split those lots, which the alley, you probably don't have the ability, but I'm just saying if they could, how wide are they?
Is the alley still an alley?
That alley is still in existence. There was a proposal to abandon a portion of it, but the evidence that we found that it did not pass, so that alley is still in existence. Their goal is to make that into one lot so that you don't have issues with the building code with all these individual property lines and having setbacks and fire rating. And so they have one lot, similar to some of the other projects that have come forward here recently. So if you think about the one on Avenue K, those are actually two-story, and there's 20 units, and it's about .8 acres. Now, it has some commercial beside it, but then it's very residential around it as well.
How many acres is this right here?
This is just right at 1.3, I believe. Yeah, 1.3.
If this was setting along Armstrong, Chadburn, I wouldn't bat an eye at it. But it's just in the middle of all single family. And so that's why I have a reservation. On the triplexes, and I mean, I could see duplexes possibly.
Yeah.
You know, but I just have the reservation, as well as they could build them 2 stories and then you're overtowering everyone as well. So that's my big reservation.
16's a lot.
Yeah.
Like if it, I don't know, to me, even looking at it, just going like to townhome sizes and things like that in other areas of town, about how big those lots are, 16's a lot. That's, I mean, that's why you gotta do the quadplex, because you'll have no yards in between, obviously 4 of them, but.
Our current ordinance would allow 25 units there. And we have properties all over town that fits, and you
Yeah.
still have plenty of space around and parking and all those things. And if we want to be considerate of our budget, we're going to have to continue to press and say we've got to stay within our bounds so that we don't keep expanding, because we lose money every time we expand out.
No, but also, I mean, I feel for the people around it. They're like, well, there's 0 other areas within, anywhere
Yes.
that my eyesight, so.
And I guess, do we have actual drawings of what they're gonna lay out and do?
No, we do not have design drawings at this time.
Do they have an idea of how much it's gonna cost to get the utilities up there?
We did do a pre-development meeting with them. That was one of the conditions from our planning commission, and did explain to them what all it's going to take. I mean, it's a significant investment to get this moving forward. So I believe we've communicated that. They can speak more to how they would work that out.
And I mean, that being said, can they sell this to someone else and they develop it? If, whatever guidelines we go forward.
They could. It would be bound by the plan development and how those guidelines are set up. Because that zoning does stay with the land, but any conditions that you place on it also stay with the land.
So, I mean, they could tell us what they planned and then realize they couldn't do it and sell it to someone else, and they could max it out to whatever we allowed.
That is correct.
Okay.
So, anybody, Karen, go ahead.
Joe, would you find it suitable to table this until we receive design drawings?
I would feel a lot more comfortable with that, yeah. Because I don't want to not develop it. We need it. Those lots need to be built, and we need more housing in that area for Lakeview, for the north side. It's great. But I also want to know more and more specifics on that, so.
Follow-up question. What was the backstory on Planning Commission's recommendation of 15 rather than 16? Did they envision something specific?
Well, I think it was
5 triplexes or?
No, they didn't. They just, they were concerned that the folks that came out and spoke, they wanted single family, and they thought if they could limit it down to the density, they just happened to come to the number 15. And so that was 10 units short of what they could do if it was already zoned RM1.
I think what we're hearing here from the group is we'd like to see a more in-depth plan. I don't think anybody here is opposed to developing that property and cleaning that property up. All right, I mean, especially, those are just an idea of what could be put there. But
Correct.
I think the consensus I hear is maybe we table this item, let them develop a better site plan of what we're going to see through, and then bring it. I mean, there's no hesitation to move this forward. We would just like to know what's coming here and moving forward. So with that, Brandon, what's our process at this point? Just make a motion to table?
Make a motion to table. I think because this is a zoning case, I mean, it would be appropriate to hear from the applicant if they're here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I would want to make sure that we're very clear. Is it site plan, and then you want to see like an elevation, like here's on to the right of the screen, so you kind of see the structure type or what height or those type of things? Because site plan can just be, here's the rectangles and how it fits on the site, and here's the drive aisles. That may not give you everything that some people have in their mind of what they're asking
I
for.
think we would like to see the best presentation of what it's actually going to be. And if that involves height because something's changing, we certainly would like to see that.
Very good.
Is the landowner here?
I believe they are.
Five minutes.
Hello, name's Michael Yoakum. Nice to meet you.
Glad to meet you, Michael. You've heard our talk about this. The reason we're here and planning's here is not only for protection all the way around, but it's for yours too, regarding if this happened to you or your neighbor going forward. Can you give us an idea of, you've heard our talk, what you're thinking about putting here, and could you come back and give us a better idea of what you could put in?
I could, if y'all would like for me to do that. As it shows on the screen, I'd propose that a quadruplex. I could split it to duplexes. Moving it to the second zoning is allowing y'all to put more rules on us. There is not going to be any 2 stories. So if you'd like to include that in there, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Make it to where I cannot build a 2-story home on that property. I would like to increase the density of this area because it'd be wasted if I just built 4 single-family homes on there, considering there's you got the elementary school, the junior high, and Lakeview, the high school, all around us, and they're developing a daycare center that's there. So for a family that has different age children, it's a real pain when you have to go across town for one child and back to this side of town for another.
And they're done that. I'm with you.
So any family that wants to move into these homes, which will be a lower income, which if I can provide for them more affordable housing, the mom or father, they're not going to have to go such distance to drop their children off or pick their children up. As far as what some of the people are talking about with the sewer line y'all are building somewhere, let me help y'all build the sewer line and electrical and water to help develop the other land that is around it, is my plan. Why build just 4 homes when we can increase the density here? Y'all speak of that there's not that many around. No one else is trying to do it. Let me try to help increase this area. It's not an abandoned lot, but it's a undeveloped lot. So the kids do come over here. They hide in these cars that are here. They come over here to drink, smoke, skip school. They do the same thing with the land that's across the street from it. If I can increase the homes are here, you have more eyes to watch these children that are coming on this road. And if I can bring the utilities up, the other landowners...
We don't have any problem with that in respect of your time.
You got it.
Do you mind if we table this and you bring us back a more in-depth plan?
If that would make y'all feel more comfortable, that'd be fine.
I think that's the consensus up here. And if you don't mind that, I'm going to make a motion to table it. I want you to work with Aaron to bring us back something a little bit more defined.
Okay.
I don't think there's no opposition here to moving forward.
Okay.
We just like to see it a little bit clear.
Okay, so y'all would just like to see more of a design on what it's going to look like finished.
Absolutely.
Like if you're using that picture on the right there and
Yes, sir.
kind of, that'll be your generic development, putting that on the picture on the left, but in specific, so we can kind of get visual. I'm a visual guy personally.
Yeah, same.
So we can kind of see it visually and be like, okay, yeah, there is room here, looks fine.
Okay.
And then the neighbors could see that as well. They'd be like, okay, that's not as bad as we thought.
Okay, that's fine. I can do that. And with the yards earlier I was trying to remember that. Each individual unit would have a 12 by 25 yard as far as y'all would be concerned about. What are some more questions that y'all are concerns?
We'll let planning put that together for you more in
Okay.
detail than just trying to shoot from the hip up here.
Okay. That'll work for me then.
We're good.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I'll second your motion, Mayor.
All right, So Aaron, we'll table this. I'll make a motion to table this item further. I've got a second from Tommy. Is there any public comment?
Ann Joseph.
Ann?
Good morning, and thank you for your time. My name is Ann Joseph, and I am a resident of Single Member District 2. In the report to Mayor and members of City Council prepared by the City of San Angelo's Planning and Development Services, it is stated that this rezoning request is being made, quote, "to make it profitable to happen for the current owner of the 6 lots in question." Those lots, by the way, are 50 by 150. This is not a rezoning request that is being made by the current owner because they think it is in the best interest of the neighborhood. That leads to a bigger question. What about the financial interests of the individuals who have already worked and invested their own hard-earned wages into their own homes in this neighborhood? Does not everyone who has already done that have a right to hold on to the potential future value of their own homes, rather than to sustain a drop in that future value simply because one person in the neighborhood wants to put more money in their own pocket through a process that will bring down the value of everyone else's home in the area? The petitioners have already said that they will be demolishing their own single-family home that they currently live in at 620 East 43rd, so as to make room for more multifamily units. So they will not be sustaining any financial loss in their own single-family home. They will be evidently moving out. And the housing need for individuals within the city of San Angelo cannot be so great as to justify this rezoning request as a wider community need for housing, because in February, the Planning Commission quite handily voted down an effort by a developer to create close to 100 studio apartments in San Angelo. Second point is that according to the overview provided by Planning and Development, if this property is rezoned for low-rise multifamily units, the owners would be allowed to have short-term rentals. Please remember that the 6 lots in question are only a block and a half away from Lakeview High School property. Is a short-term rental situation best for this area? And whereas according to Planning and Development, the future land use and vision for this property is neighborhood, I ask you to vote against this rezoning request, remembering that short-term rentals do not preserve neighborhood character. Finally, one of the arguments presented for rezoning is that children can walk to their schools, just as the petitioners for the rezoning indicate they have for themselves. Now, statistics consistently show that families with children will avoid multifamily housing. The petitioners themselves have a single-family home for their children to walk to schools. Now, according to Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing Studies, quote, in total, 39% of households in new single-family rentals had children, compared with just 14% of households in new multifamily units. So fundamentally, a larger number of people with children who would be able to take advantage of the proximity
Thank
of
you.
schools want single-family homes.
Thank you.
We support affordable single-family.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any more public comment? So with that said, we'll take a vote in favor of tabling this item. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item is tabled with a vote of 7-0. We'll move into item D, first reading and public hearing of an ordinance for 1 PD 26-02, a request for a zone change from Planned Development District to a new Planned Development District with a base zoning of neighborhood commercial, and 2 CP 26-01, a request for a comprehensive plan amendment from neighborhood to neighborhood center, allowing for self-storage units located at 4657 and 4665 Southland Boulevard. Aaron, you're on.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Valenzuela. This again is another planned development request here along Southland. It's right across, this is Bonham Elementary, and of course you see some city facilities across the way. This is an area that is in District 6, Miss Mary Coffey. It's in the Bonham neighborhood. It's right under 9 acres. And it has a comprehensive plan request to go from neighborhood to neighborhood center, and a request for a zone change from an old PD in 2014 to a new plan development. The old plan development was multifamily. You can see all the addresses in there, all those white numbers on there, but it never moved forward. And so the proposal today is to come back in and actually do storage buildings along Southland. So we did send out our notices for this project. At the time that this PowerPoint was created earlier or later last week, we had not had any in support or opposition. We did not have any in support or opposition at Planning Commission, but we have received 3 over the weekend that are in opposition. There is one that has writing on it that says traffic is hazardous in the area of Bonham already, or Bonham School. Different egress, let's see. Let me put on some glasses, make sure I can read those words, Mayor.
Want to borrow some readers over there,
Yeah,
Eric?
maybe we should do that, huh?
How old are you?
This gray hair is not just for show.
I'm with you.
So, difficult egress exists at present. I oppose both commercial development and/or planned development. Areas should be for single-family homes. And then we have two in favor who are actually the property owners here. The ones that are along Autumn Trail, and I would be remiss to understand exactly where Autumn Trail is, but I'm going to make my assumption that's Autumn Trail back there. So, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Ms. Cobb. So here you can see the zoning and the vision plan. So the vision plan this time is on your right. You can see commercial area up here to the top. Again, the campus institutional where the school stuff is. Everything else is over here in the neighborhood area, which neighborhood normally means some type of housing of some kind. Can be high-rise housing all the way to single-family housing. Now the zoning, again, you can see the general commercial up here. You can see that these areas are zoned single-family residential. They just don't function in that way. We've got some RS3 here fronting Southland, the planned development, and then the regular single-family housing that just kind of goes back all the way to almost the railroad tracks back there. So this would be a planned development to add storage, self-storage, to those two lots. So here is the layout that they have. You can see there's a number of storage buildings, but the thing to look at here, and it was discussed at Planning Commission, is their entrances are here along Southland. They don't have any planned entrances along Mills Pass. The only reason they would have anything there is if emergency services that said that they would need maybe a gate down here if they needed to have circulation for emergency services. It wouldn't be for the public necessarily to use all the time. These are large buildings. Some of them may be, and they may be able to speak a little bit more, but they're self-storage. The lot allows that volume of those. They will come back and make sure that fire and ambulance and stuff can circulate. They've got their required parking. They would be subject to an urban design review and fencing along this back property line where the single family is. We would probably ask them, depending on where we could put that, to put in some trees and things so that it can buffer some of the sound and things. But again, this is self-storage. It's not like a other heavier use commercial use. Yes, you're going to have traffic there, but it's not a high volume of traffic all day long, as opposed to a retail store. And I think it would also be less traffic than the multifamily that was earlier proposed. So we did do some analysis looking at the property. It is on a major collector. You want those types of things on major collectors. You really don't want your housing on major collectors or arterials. This is a good transition. It is neighborhood commercial. That is a transition between higher volume places and neighborhoods. And so having storage is a better connection between those two. There is a community need. Seems like every time we build a storage building, they're full. We love to collect things, so everybody needs their storage. I would also say we have a community need for other housing, but in this case, it does make sense in this area. With that, this did go to Planning Commission. They did approve unanimously 6-0. And our recommendation is to the approval for the comprehensive plan amendment from neighborhood to neighborhood center, which allows a little bit more intensity. And that the second one is for the approval from the old plan development from multifamily to the new plan development, which would be a neighborhood commercial, excuse me, that allows self-storage as the principal use. They'd receive all their building permits. They'd go under an urban design review, and the applicant must install and maintain opaque privacy screening along any property boundary adjoining the residential zone or land use. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Aaron, I think we look at this first as the property's been unused for a long time.
Yes.
People have chosen not to develop it, and looking for a way to utilize this. Mary, I'm fixing to tee this up to you here in just a minute, but to me, it just amazes me how we do storage units and we actually use them and we fill them up. I get that. I did like the fact that, is there a fence just on 3 sides, or it will be fenced all the way?
I believe they'll fence it all the way. I think this will be the main controlled access. I think there will be secondary accesses here, but I think their plan is to fence it all the way.
Okay. I like to see it tends to not only keep things in, but keep things out. So with that, Mary, let's kick this over to you and kind of give us an opinion what you think here.
I don't know that this is even appropriate time to bring this up, but in seeing some of these planning committee meetings and the calls that I've had from people that live over there, the traffic on Southland is just atrocious anyway. How hard would it be if we striped that road there? Because a lot of the things, that's what people were having concerns with. You either can't get in or can't get out during the school times. But with the storage part, you've got, that congestion, and they worry about being able to get out in a timely way. Now, granted, that only happens, twice a day with schools, but when it impedes where you're going, that could seem forever.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure that this property would have any responsibility with doing that, since if they don't have to plat, if they do a replat, there might be a discussion there. But I may defer to Mr. Kelton, as he's very aware of operations and things like that in Southland. So I don't know if you have any comments on that, Mr. Kelton.
that was just some stuff that was brought up in those discussions when we're talking about this part.
Yes, ma'am.
And traffic is really horrible there twice a day, and it's been an issue. We have looked in that area for years, trying to figure out how to alleviate some of the congestion, especially at pickup and drop-off times at the school. And so we don't really have any additional right-of-way in that area, so it would be very hard for us to go in there and reconfigure the lanes in that area with any striping or anything that would assist with that congestion during those times. And so we've looked at 2 or 3 options, trying to get even working with the school to try to get some additional, maybe pull off lanes and things like that constructed. It's going to be significant dollars to go in there and to try to alleviate some of that congestion. The one thing with self-storage is that you're probably not, most people are probably not going to go to their self-storage at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:45 to 8:15. Now, maybe in the afternoon during pickup or something, that may be a more likely time. But again, I think the people that would utilize this facility would try to dodge those specific times where traffic congestion is so bad in this segment of Southland.
Good deal. Just a thought, just passing it on.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further questions, Mary?
No, sir, thank you.
Patrick?
Aaron, I don't know if we could, I know Patrick has the street usage book that he has. I'm sure that shows, I think it'd be a very low usage, probably the lowest usage of almost anything, especially over multifamily or any other commercial. So I think that actually might be a benefit, is that it's a low daily usage facility. Excuse me. On the first part, the question I had, so we're going from one PD to a different PD, neighborhood commercial. Does it need to be that to do what they're wanting to do?
Yes, and we think neighborhood commercial is lower than regular commercial. And so that, say if the land use, say if they don't move forward with this, then we have a neighborhood commercial, so it has to be a low-intensity commercial project that would come in. Now, they could still do, they could come back and change their PD if they wanted to and do something different. But with the vision there, we are trying to protect the neighborhood, the school, the passageway there that's going through there that we know it can get very congested. We wouldn't like to see a higher commercial use move into that area. We think that the neighborhood commercial is the right land use there that will help ease some of that just a bit.
So they could, if they didn't go forward with storage, they could still do something else commercial, just not a high, like a retail spot like the general commercial above it.
Yes, neighborhood commercial would allow that in the future. They would have to change their plan development. The plan development is written that it is for storage building use, not for other commercial uses. So they would have to come back and get an amendment, either through planning commission and city council, to change that PD for that other commercial use.
So what is the underlying zoning currently?
The underlying zoning currently is neighborhood.
Okay,
Well, let me restate that. You're asking zoning or vision plan?
current zoning.
Zoning.
So what could go there right now without having to do a PD?
A high-rise multifamily, I think it's, or maybe it's low-rise multifamily. Let me make sure. I don't have it listed, but I know it's multifamily that can go there. And I think it was two-story multifamily that could go there right now, is what was proposed originally.
Gotcha. So we are changing that underlining zoning from that to general or neighborhood commercial?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that that's clear, because it wasn't to me, so.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, that was all my
Yes.
questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions on the dice? All right, I'll look for a motion.
So moved.
I have a first from Harry Thomas,
Second.
a second from Joe Self. Any public comment? With no public comment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Item passes 7-0. With that, we'll move into closed session, executive session under the Provision Government Code Title 5, Open Government Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government, Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, Exceptions to Requirements that meetings be open under the following sections. A, Section 551.074, Personal Matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, and duties of a city manager. With that, we'll move into closed session. All right, at 12:13, we'll reconvene from closed session. We're going into item A, follow-up and administrative issues. Consider items discussed in executive session. There's nothing that needs to be moved forward at this time. We're going to go on to item B, consider approving various board nominations. Zoning Board of Adjustment, Todd Smith, SMD 6, to a first term ending January 2028. Can I get a motion on that?
Second.
I got a first from Mary and a second from Joe. Any public comment? I don't see anybody here. All those in favor of nominating Todd Smith to item B, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Appointment passes 7-0. Now we'll talk about announcement and consideration of future agenda items. Does anybody have anything they want to add for a future agenda? Mary, Karen, Patrick? Nothing baseball anywhere? I'm with you. I could imagine Daniel, Harry, Joe, Tommy, with that, we'll take
move we adjourn.
We'll have a first and a second to close the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Barbara? No opposition? Meeting's closed.